objective frame. Objective frame. And have a look at that soon as well. Action bars. So I turn my micro bar on, and it's up in this corner. I then change it to double it up like that, and then I press mouse over. And that hides it unless I move my mouse up here, and that way it's off my screen, it's out of my way. I don't have to worry about it, but it's there if I need to go and find something. I don't play around with anything else in here, not yet anyway. But you can enable additional bars to see additional bars. You probably will have to do at some point. So you've got all your bars there. Your pet bar, that's this bar here, and a stance bar. If you are a certain character, you get a little stance bar as well. So there's that. That's all good. Bags. Now the bags in Elf UI are built into the UI as well. So that's something that you guys can look at if you want to play around with your bags. You can customise all sorts of things, make it how you want. But I'm not touching anything in there. Buffs, debuffs we'll look at shortly. We probably won't need to look at that for a long time, to be honest. Chat, so you can actually texture these panels if you wanted to texture them. We're not going to bother. Data text, leave that as is. Nameplates. This is the LVUI set of nameplates, which is basically the thing that appears above people's heads or your pets' heads. You can change the font and stuff on them. They are quite small, quite hard to read, I find. I don't think this is actually making much difference here. But there's so much here you can look at to change if you wanted to use LVUI nameplates. Skins to change your skins, or to turn skins on and off, should I say. So if you wanted to use the original World of Warcraft skin for something, you can turn off the skins here. Tooltips, this is an important one. This is our tooltips over in the corner there. And what we want to do is we actually want to move it. You've got a couple of ways of doing it. You can anchor it to the cursor so it's wherever my cursor is. But that I find can get in the way. In combat you're trying to click things and it's popping up this box. It's personal preference, I don't like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size. Just so it's bigger, as you can see. I quite like that. You can turn it off in combat. That might have been a nicer way of doing it, so I do have it when I'm looking at things, but in combat it's turned off. And if you want the health bar as well, you can set that. So you can see there's a health bar and it's a little bigger. So that's good. Now if you hit toggle anchors, you can move the tooltip, and we're going to move it here. And now when we hover stuff around, the tooltip is in a nice place. A little bit easier to see. You can see it's kind of out the way of all of the rest of the UI areas. So that's good. So the Zygor thing, you can see that when we're in a party, it covers our party frame, but I generally either move it above during a party, or you can disable it or turn it off, whichever suits you. Okay. And if effective. Lock that. I'm going to close that and accept that message. I think that was the nameplate. When I was playing with the nameplates, I think that was probably what popped up. So go back in. Unit frames. We're not going to deal too much with that. At the moment, location plus. That's this bar up here. I'm going to decrease the time it takes for the coordinates to show up. We don't need it to show up every half a second. We want to set it every second. So zone, subzone, the detailed coordinates, and the level range 1 to 6. And you can have it hidden unless you moused over if you want a tooltip. Don't really know what that is, to be honest. I'll leave that as is. So I'll accept that. Have we got much else left to do? Filters, plugins, profiles. I think that's pretty much it. It's not too bad then. It didn't take us that long to set up. It still took half an hour, but I got quicker at it, and I was going pretty quick. So apologies if it was too quick. There is one more thing I want to change though. I want to change the texts of these, which is flags and bars. It's not nameplates, is it? Unit frames. There we go. Unit frames. So there's quite a lot of settings in here. The ones I want to change are, I want to increase the font sizes. Make that 14. I'm going to take off the outline. It does make it a little bit clearer, but it also kind of makes it a bit funky looking. You go for just outline if you want. Outline's probably okay. And that's all good. Then in the player frame, what I want to do is go portrait enable, and then I think it's overlay. And you can see this now shows me target frame. Let's select a target.
What are you looking for?
I'm going to also go portrait, enable, overlay. Okay, so if I select somebody that doesn't look like me, this guy for example, these guys are all hawks, aren't they? So there we go, he's a rogue. You can see it's pretty nice. You can adjust the models as well, so like the camera distance. Set that back to 2. You can actually adjust the style as well. Play around it as much as you want. And if your character looks a bit funky, you can kind of move them around and all that sort of stuff. Not sure what that does. 45. 2.0. Two. Fine, okay. So that's, I think, all of that. Nearly there. So the last thing I want to do is these texts here are too small for me. So right click here, font size 14. I think it's 16 I'll use here actually, font size 16. And right click, font size 16 over this side. And settings. There's a way to also increase the sizes of these, but I've forgotten how to do it. Not too bothered. Oh, yes, of course. So, back in here, chat. Then you've got the tab font, and that increases that there, so that looks a bit better. That's the UI setup. That's what we're going to run with. It's pretty nice. So let's get moving. Alright, so I've got some buttons I want to change. So my A and D move me like that. Going to change that. A and D. Q and E. Return to game. So, in my opinion, this UI is pretty good. But I can't read this text. It's just like, what? I can read his a little bit, but you can't read much else. So what I do for that is a final add-on, which is called Tidy Plates. So I turn on Tidy Plates. And I turn off the ElvUI nameplate. Let it do its thing. And now in the interface, I now have under add-ons, I have Tidy Plates. So I've got it set up for damage because I'm a DPS class. Click on here to set up these nameplates. So I've pressed it and now these nameplates are changed. At the moment it's not much better, but you can see this guy's nameplate is a lot better. And these are a lot better. There's one little it's an annoyance more than anything with nameplates, and that is, in order for these titles to show up, do you have to hover your mouse over the characters? You only have to do it the once. Okay, so that was my one annoyance I had. So the NPCs, I couldn't see what they were called, but that fixes it and solves it for me. And these guys look good, so I'm more than happy with that. Looks a lot better nameplates in my opinion. It's easy to read. It doesn't blend into the background. His does, but I think I could actually change his. I don't want to change my own pets, but other pets. So like his pet, for example.